was just going through some pictures again like I did before, and I just grabbed a handful because I haven't got them all organized yet. But when I saw this one and this one, I wanted to share with you because I just did Hee Haw's 50th anniversary. We did that show on RFD. And then I came across this picture that had Louise and I with Misty Rowe, and one more of me as the Cornfield County operator. And I love that. It was so fun. Can I help you? And then Louise and I, we lived, we were in Oceanside, California, and we're playing with our Barbie dolls and their clothes, and we always got a kick out of calling Barbie and Ken. Our Barbie and Ken was Barbara and Ken. And we're holding Dinky Doo, our first little dog that we had as kids. And that was such good memories. And I also shared with you guys last time about Mom going playing bass when my dad had the Mandrell family band, and it was Barbara and Mom and Ken, and all of them went overseas. And this was one time, boy, they look so young. My mama had the dark hair, and Barbara's the blonde, and my dad. And the guy there is my cousin Danny, who was in the Navy, and they happened to run into him while they were over there. And that was so cool. There's a lot of pictures here, and my mom playing bass again. And there's a couple I saw in a second. I'm going to show you a couple, but then there's a story that I wanted to share with you guys of one of the pictures. Oh, this doesn't have anything to do with it, but that little boy in the wedding I'm in, that was Louise's first wedding, and that little boy is Matt Dudney, Barbara's and Ken's oldest son. Boy, time flies. Oof. And, oh, I got a story. This isn't the one I was going to tell you, but this little girl, Barbara, was 2 years old, and my grandmother, who ended up having over 100 great grandchildren and great-grandchildren, and a lot of them lived there in Fairfield, and she had a piano always set up in her house, and she wouldn't let any of the kids play, and they'd come pound on it, and Barbara was only 2. And she started playing that piano, and my mom said, Barbara, stop, and grandmother went, no, she can play it. Mom said, but you don't let any of them play it. And she goes, yeah, but she's musically inclined. And that was at 2 years old. My grandmother had it going on. She had some foresight there. So here's the story I wanted to tell y'all. Here's a picture. This is Louise and Barbara and I. And we're sitting in front of this car that my mom and dad, they said they hadn't had it for very long. And I was under a year old. I don't know exactly, like 6 or 7 months. And Louise, a couple of years older than me, and Barbara lots, right? Anyway, that was so cool because the story has to do with my daddy, whom I've shared the story with the red dresses and how he took on extra jobs to be able to buy Louise and I these red velvet dresses for Christmas. He was such a hero to me. But here I was, and I went, it was the first time Louise and Barbara stayed home with another relative, and I went, and I was in the car, and they took this car. And I guess back then the Volkswagen's engines were in the back, so they were kind of awkward as far as weight. And Dad said he was making a right-hand turn when this big semi went straight, and just the extra wind flew the car into the ditch, and it flipped over. And they said normally there was water in that ditch, but because there wasn't, for whatever reason, they heard me cry. And the car was on my leg, and my dad had hurt his arm. I cry when I tell these stories. And my dad took his, it lifted the whole car up, or the half of the car up himself. And with his hurt arm, he dragged me out and he saved me. Anyway, here's a picture of the car afterwards. But my daddy's my hero for so many reasons. My mom and my dad, really. But we're going to put all these pictures on the website, and I hope you get a chance to look at them. Thanks for sharing things with me. I love it.